You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
Bad actors don't break in, they log in. Attackers use stolen credentials in nearly 9 out of 10 data breaches. And once inside, they're after one thing: your data. Varonis's AI-powered data security platform secures your data at scale. Across LaaS, SaaS, and hybrid cloud environments, join thousands of organizations who trust Varonis to keep their data safe. Get a free data risk assessment at varonis.com. Officials in St. Paul, Minnesota declare a state of emergency following a cyber attack. Hackers disrupt a major French telecom. A power outage causes widespread service disruptions for cloud provider Linode. Researchers reveal a critical authentication bypass flaw in an AI-driven app development platform. A new study shows AI training is chock full of PII. Fallout continues for the T-dating safety app. Hackers are actively exploiting a critical SAP NetWeaver vulnerability to deploy malware. CISA and the FBI update their scattered spider advisory. A Florida prison exposes personal information of visitors to all of its inmates. Our guest today is Keith Mularski, Chief Global Ambassador at Qintel, retired FBI special agent and co-host of Only Malware in the Building. And CISA and Senator Wyden come to terms, mostly, over the long-buried US Telecommunications Insecurity Report. It's Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. It's great to have you with us. A cyber attack that began Friday has forced the city of St. Paul, Minnesota, to shut down many of its digital systems, prompting Mayor Melvin Carter to declare a state of emergency. Key city services, including online payments and internet access at libraries and City Hall, are offline, though 911 and emergency systems remain operational. Governor Tim Walz activated the National Guard's cyber unit to assist, while the FBI leads the investigation. Officials say the attack was deliberate and sophisticated, though no ransom demand has been reported. City employees are urged to change passwords amid concerns about data exposure. The origin and extent of the breach remain unclear, but officials stress that cyber attacks are becoming more frequent and costly, especially for under-resourced local governments. Orange, one of the world's largest telecom companies, detected a cyber attack on July 25th that disrupted some services in France. Orange Cyber Defense quickly isolated the affected system to limit impact, though this caused temporary outages for business and consumer services. The company has notified authorities and launched an investigation. So far, there's no evidence customer data was stolen. While no group has been blamed, the incident resembles past telecom breaches linked to China's Salt Typhoon cyber espionage group. Services are expected to recover sometime today. A major power outage at Newark's 165 Halsey Street data center on Sunday caused widespread service disruptions for cloud provider Linode, continuing into Monday and partially Tuesday. The outage impacted nearly all Linode services, including web hosting, storage, and Kubernetes deployments. The root cause was a cooling system failure following the power loss. Other Linode data centers in Dallas, Fremont, Sydney, Tokyo, Toronto, and Washington also experienced outages due to interdependencies. Services required slow, careful reactivation to avoid hardware damage. Though no full post-mortem has been released, stability returned yesterday. Linode, a longtime supporter of open-source projects and now owned by Akamai, is considered a pillar in the open-source ecosystem. This incident underscores how vital dependable infrastructure providers are for maintaining global digital and open-source operations. Researchers at Wiz revealed a critical authentication bypass flaw in Base44, an AI-driven app development platform with over 20,000 users. The bug stemmed from misconfigured API endpoints, allowing attackers to bypass authentication, including SSO, by exploiting non-secret app ID values. This exposed private enterprise apps handling sensitive data like internal chatbots and PII. Wiz disclosed the issue to Base44 on July 9th, and a fix was deployed within 24 hours. Base44 claims there's no evidence of past exploitation or data compromise. A new study reveals that millions of images containing personally identifiable information like passports, credit cards, and resumes are likely included in the massive AI training dataset DataComp Common Pool. Researchers audited just 0.1% of the dataset and found thousands of sensitive documents, suggesting that hundreds of millions of such images may exist across the full dataset. Despite some privacy safeguards, many faces and PII were missed. Common Pool, built from web-scraped data dating from 2014 through 2022, has been downloaded over 2 million times and underpins many AI models. Critics argue this reveals the flawed assumption that all online data is fair game for training AI. Experts call for stronger privacy standards, clearer consent practices, and policy reform to prevent further misuse of online data in AI development. Messaging has been shut down on the women-only dating safety app T as the fallout from its recent cyber attack deepens. The company now confirms that direct messages were accessed in the July breach, adding to the 72,000 leaked images previously disclosed. Some exposed messages reportedly involve sensitive topics like abortion and infidelity. T, which helps users screen potential dates, is now offering free identity protection. Users are urged to stay alert as the investigation continues. Hackers are actively exploiting a critical SAP NetWeaver vulnerability to deploy the advanced AutoColor Linux malware, with a recent attack targeting a US-based chemical company. First detailed in February, AutoColor is known for its stealth, persistence, and evasion techniques. The April attack began with remote code execution that installed a Linux ELF file using the NetWeaver flaw. AutoColor can execute commands, modify files, establish remote access, and evade detection using rootkit features. Darktrace, which investigated the attack, found that the malware now stalls in sandboxed environments if it can't reach its command and control server, making it harder to analyze. SAP patched the vulnerability in April, but exploitation surged afterward, including by ransomware groups and suspected Chinese state actors. Admins are urged to apply SAP's security fixes immediately. An updated joint cybersecurity advisory from CISA and the FBI warns that the Scattered Spider Threat Group, also known as Octopus or Storm 0875, continues targeting large organizations with increasingly advanced tactics. This July 2025 update outlines how the group leverages impersonation, vishing, and malware like RattyRat and DragonForce ransomware to infiltrate systems, exfiltrate sensitive data, and extort victims. Their operations often start with social engineering and escalate using tools like TeamViewer and RMM software. Once inside, they exploit cloud environments, execute data theft, and encrypt systems. Scattered Spider now prioritizes spear phishing enriched by social media data and uses living-off-the-land tactics to avoid detection. The advisory urges organizations to adopt phishing-resistant MFA, application allow listing, network segmentation, and continuous monitoring to defend against the group's evolving techniques, which increasingly threaten critical infrastructure and commercial sectors. A major data breach at Everglades Correctional Institute in Miami-Dade County exposed the personal contact information of dozens and possibly hundreds of prison visitors to all 1,600 inmates. A facility staff member accidentally emailed names, phone numbers, and email addresses of recent visitors, alarming recipients who fear potential harassment or extortion. Many affected individuals are angry that the Florida Department of Corrections has yet to acknowledge or notify them. Advocates blame the incident on the flawed visitation process, which requires visitors to resubmit personal details each time. Critics say this policy, originally implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic, is outdated and risky. Some victims, like those with past stalkers or safety concerns, now fear serious consequences. Advocacy group Florida Cares is urging immediate reform to protect families' privacy and safety. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Keith Mularski, Chief Global Ambassador at Qintel, retired FBI special agent, and co-host of Only Malware in the Building. And CISA and Senator Wyden come to terms over the long-buried US Telecommunications Insecurity Report. Stay with us. Compliance regulations, third-party risk, and customer security demands are all growing and changing fast. Is your manual GRC program actually slowing you down? If you're thinking there has to be something more efficient than spreadsheets, screenshots, and all those manual processes, you're right. GRC can be so much easier, and it can strengthen your security posture while actually driving revenue for your business. You know, one of the things I really like about Vanta is how it takes the heavy lifting out of your GRC program. Their trust management platform automates those key areas: compliance, internal and third-party risk, and even customer trust, so you're not buried under spreadsheets and endless manual tasks. Vanta really streamlines the way you gather and manage information across your entire business. And this isn't just theoretical. A recent IDC analysis found that compliance teams using Vanta are 129% more productive. It's a pretty impressive number. So what does it mean for you? It means you get back more time and energy to focus on what actually matters, like strengthening your security posture and scaling your business. Vanta, GRC. Just imagine how much easier trust can be. Visit vanta.com/cyber to sign up today for a free demo. That's vanta.com/cyber. Hey everybody, Dave here. I've talked about Delete Me before, and I'm still using it because it still works. It's been a few months now, and I'm just as impressed today as I was when I signed up. Delete Me keeps finding and removing my personal information from data broker sites, and they keep me updated with detailed reports, so I know exactly what's been taken down. I'm genuinely relieved knowing my privacy isn't something I have to worry about every day. The Delete Me team handles everything. It's the set it and forget it peace of mind. And it's not just for individuals. Delete Me also offers solutions for businesses, helping companies protect their employees' personal information and reduce exposure to social engineering and phishing threats. And right now, our listeners get a special deal, 20% off your Delete Me plan. Just go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and use promo code N2K at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/N2K, code N2K. And it is my pleasure to welcome back to the show Keith Mularski. He is the Chief Global Ambassador at Qintel. But more importantly than that, he is one of the co-hosts on Only Malware in the Building, the podcast that Keith and I host along with our third co-host, Selena Selena Larson. I want to say Selena Gomez, but that's not right. Selena Larson from Proofpoint. Keith, it's great to have you back.
Dave, it's always a pleasure. Great to be here.
So for folks who may not be familiar with your background in cyber, can we take a quick trip through your professional career? Where did you get your start and what led you to where you are today?
Yeah, so I was an FBI special agent for 20 years with the majority of those working cyber cases. So during my time at the FBI, I worked undercover for a period of time where my antics, I guess, have been documented in the book Kingpin and also Dark Market by Kevin Polson and Misha Glenny. And then I retired from the FBI in 2018. And I went to work at Ernst & Young as part of their cyber consulting business. In the last 2 years there, I led their cyber threat management cybersecurity practice there. I retired from there, and I thought I was done for a while. I worked with some great colleagues at the FBI and at the government at Qintel. So they brought me back, and now I'm their chief global ambassador at Qintel to continue working with companies and government agencies to go after the bad guys, which is what we all really like to do.
So really taking that experience that you got with all those years at the agency and applying that to the private sector these days.
Absolutely, yeah. I kind of have a unique background where I did it both in the government and also on the commercial side. So you kind of see not only going after bad guys, which we love to do at the FBI, but also really kind of defending your network and how do we keep these bad guys out from stealing our secrets or infecting our computers and affecting commercial businesses as well.
What is that transition like for folks who are considering a shift from public service to the private sector? How much of a culture shock was that for you?
I think it's a pretty big culture shock. In the government, your mission is just different. Your mission is really to go after the bad guys, track the bad guys, and keep the American people safe. And in the case of the FBI, where we like to put cuffs on people and bring them to justice. But when you switch over to the commercial side, you're really about protecting that business and ensuring the business continuity to ensure that the bad guys aren't stealing the intellectual property. So you can, shift that focus a little bit. I'd like to tell my team when I was at EY, I was like, in the government, we were protecting the American people, but at EY, we were protecting the world's biggest companies. So you kind of change that focus a little bit. It's different and it takes a little bit getting used to, especially if you came from the government, to really kind of go into that commercial sector because the speed is so much different.
Yeah.
I used to like to say sometimes at the FBI, it was like watching the rotation of the Earth. You never saw it move, but every day, it got light and every day it got dark. So the government just moves at a different pace. Commercial, as a lot of people know, it's breakneck speed, daily. So.
For folks who are just at the beginning of their career in cybersecurity and may be considering some time in the public sector, what's your advice to them? I mean, it seems to me like that time you spent has served you well.
I could not have had a better job. I could tell you being an FBI agent was kind of that dream when you're a 15-year-old kid. You see things in movies, and I could honestly say that I did things that were, that you couldn't even imagine in movies. And, a lot of my colleagues did the same thing. So there is no better reward than going out and getting a bad guy or protecting somebody, getting justification for, victims that are out there. It was definitely the most rewarding experience that I could have ever imagined in my life. So I highly recommend anybody that's thinking about doing that to pursue and go into that field. The government always needs good people too, because naturally the government doesn't pay what the commercial sector does. But they need strong, dedicated public servants to kind of keep going after the mission.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's certainly probably second on your list of most gratifying and satisfying things that you've done in your career is being co-host on Only Malware in the Building.
Actually, that's 1A, Dave. You know that.
So at this point in your career, what was the thing that made you say, you know what, this is something that I want to do. I want to try out joining this crazy island of misfit toys and do some podcasting?
Yeah. So, well, as you know, we have a mutual friend who was a high school friend of mine, that actually a high school dance partner of mine, and
our producer Jennifer Iben,
yes,
who I could not live without.
Yes. So Jen and I, we were talking, and we've had some beers together, and she said that I always have really good stories, and so she just kind of talked to me, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. It's a way to give back, and kind of I'm at that point in my career where I want to give back to people and download what I've learned. And if I could help somebody avoid pitfalls or mistakes that I've made or seen, I want to be there to kind of help that. So I'm just kind of hoping to provide some humorous insights and maybe some good stories to the group. I know you and Selena have done such a great job these first year plus episodes. So I'm just going to try to contribute wherever I can.
Well, if you've never had the opportunity to hear some of Keith Mularski's storytelling, it is a real treat. I first heard you, gosh, it's probably over a decade ago when you were giving a presentation about some of your exploits in the FBI. And you're right, it's like a real life, I don't know, Jason Bourne or James Bond, or I don't know what it is, but it's far more exciting and adventurous than mere civilian mortals like myself can imagine us getting ourselves into.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it, because like if you would talk to my wife, she thinks I'm just like dull and mashed potatoes. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, we are obligated by our producers to tease an upcoming episode of Only Malware in the Building. This is pretty special. What do you think we can share about this without giving too much away?
Okay, so are we talking about the next episode that's going to drop in a couple weeks, or the one?
Yeah, no, the one we're recording later this week. Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, so this is going to be of epic proportions, Dave, as you know. So this is, I'm going to use my FBI interrogation skills to interrogate both you and Selena while you eat very hot things, and you can't concentrate on your answers at all. So this is going to be my version of waterboarding. It's going to be hotboarding or something like that. So it should be a lot of fun.
I can't help but wonder if you had actually done this sort of thing when you were in the FBI. Could it have been some sort of international incident? Like, is it against the Geneva Convention or something to, chemical weapons against someone's palate?
I can neither confirm nor deny that, Dave.
All right, fair enough. Well, do tune in. If you have not had the pleasure of listening to Only Malware in the Building, it is a podcast right here on the N2K Cyberwire Network. It is a load of fun, and Keith Mularski, along with Selena Larson, are my co-hosts. Keith is Chief Global Ambassador at Qintel. Keith Mularski, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Dave. Glad to be part of the team.
Did you know Active Directory is targeted in 9 out of 10 cyber attacks? Once attackers get in, they can take control of your entire network. That's why Sempris created Purple Night, the free security assessment tool that scans your Active Directory for hundreds of vulnerabilities and shows you how to fix them. Join thousands of IT pros using Purple Night to stay ahead of threats. Download it now at sempris.com/purple-night. That's sempris.com/purple-night. Bad actors don't break in, they log in. Attackers use stolen credentials in nearly 9 out of 10 data breaches. And once inside, they're after one thing: your data. Varonis's AI-powered data security platform secures your data at scale. across LaaS, SaaS, and hybrid cloud environments. Join thousands of organizations who trust Varonis to keep their data safe. Get a free data risk assessment at varonis.com. And finally, after years of bureaucratic dodgeball, CISA now says it plans to release its long-buried US Telecommunications Insecurity Report from 2022, pending, of course, proper clearance. The report, rumored to contain national security facepalms involving U.S. telecoms, has been the obsession of Senator Ron Wyden, who's turned withholding agency nominations into an art form. His latest would be CISA boss Sean Planky, whose confirmation remains in limbo until the report goes public. The Senate unanimously passed a bill demanding CISA release the document within 30 days. Meanwhile, the report details how foreign spies, most notably China's Salt Typhoon Group, waltzed into telecom networks, intercepted messages, tracked Americans, and maybe sent your texts to Beijing. Wyden calls it a cover-up. CISA calls it a pending review. Tomato, tomato. And that's the Cyberwire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're conducting our annual audience survey to learn more about our listeners. We're collecting your insights through the end of August. There's a link in the show notes. Please take a moment and check it out. N2K's senior producer is Alice Carruth. Our Cyberwire producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Trey Hester with original music by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Krogel is AI built for the enterprise SOC, fully private, schema-free, and capable of running in sensitive air-gapped environments. Krogel autonomously investigates thousands of alerts weekly, correlating insights across your tools without data leaving your perimeter. Designed for high availability across geographies, it delivers context-aware, auditable decisions aligned to your workflows. Krogel empowers analysts to act faster and focus on critical threats, replacing repetitive triage with intelligent automation to help your SOC operate at scale with precision and control. Learn more at Krogel.com. That's Krogl.com.